Hey guys, welcome back to my small engine repair channel. Today I want to show you guys a quick and simple way to diagnose your engine if you have no spark. Now what I'm going to show you in the video today, anybody can do this at home. As you're going to see, it's so easy to do and it's going to save you a lot of aggravation when you're trying to diagnose a small engine, whether it's a 4-cycle engine like this, a chainsaw, weed whacker, lawnmower, whatever you have. It will help you to diagnose quickly whether you have a coil, which is the ignition module on your engine that produces spark, or if you have a wiring problem causing you to have no spark. So the reason I'm making the video is I get a lot of emails and comments on YouTube. People are asking me, I've just put in a brand new coil or ignition module on my engine and I still don't have spark. So by the way, for all of you guys watching today that are new to small engines, your coil, or sometimes called ignition module, is this part here that is bolted outside the flywheel. And basically this part here, the coil, produces the spark to your spark plug. And on your chainsaw, it's located usually right here on the side of the recoil assembly. There it is right there. All you need to do, the procedure I'm going to show you in the video today, is a small pair of pliers like this. And the procedure I'm going to show you today again is if you have no spark at the spark plug of your outdoor power equipment. And obviously before you check anything, make sure you have a good spark plug. So first of all, to check for spark on your small engine equipment, you need to take the plug out, get it far away from the spark plug hole, and ground it on the engine. And what you have to do is make sure the switch is on to check properly for spark. Now on this chainsaw here, I do have spark. But let's say I had no spark on this chainsaw, even if I had replaced the coil, which there isn't right now because I've turned the switch off. But the point of the video is if you have no spark and your switch is on, this is what I'm going to show you how to bypass the electrical system, which includes the switch that turns it off. So I left the switch here in the off position to simulate an electrical problem. And as I just showed you, there is no spark. So what you would do in this case to figure out very quickly whether you have an ignition module problem or an electrical problem is to disconnect this wire here from the primary tab of the ignition module. And again, it's the tab that is not grounded to the machine itself, to the metal. So this wire here is grounded, so you stay away from that. It's the primary tab that you want to remove. So again, as I mentioned previously, when you remove the wire from the primary tab, you're actually detaching the coil or separating it completely from the wiring system. So if there's a problem in the wiring system and you've disconnected that, you will get spark if your coil is good. So just have a look here. Now you can see I've got spark. And like I said, I have turned the switch off to simulate that, but since I disconnected the wire, it's bypassing all the switch. So the whole gist of this video here is to help you to quickly diagnose whether you have a bad coil or a bad wiring system. So it's very simple, but remember, if you do disconnect this wire, you've got spark now, and you start up the machine, the switch will not work because it's totally disconnected from the ignition module. So just be careful because that can become a safety issue as well. So just have a plan to quickly pull the spark plug boot off or turn the choke on to stop it immediately. And then you would know, okay, I need to go in and fix either the switch or some of the wires that may be grounding on the metal parts of the engine. Now, on the other hand, if you disconnect that wire and you still don't have spark, then you need to replace the ignition module or re-gap it. Now, when I say re-gap the coil, what I mean is you loosen the 2 bolts that hold the coil, you bring the flywheel around where the magnet is, and you basically put a spacer or a 10/1000 of an inch feeler gauge between the coil and the flywheel where the magnets are, and then retighten up the bolts. I like to use a business card because it's pretty well the correct size that you would need to gap a coil, and it's much easier to work with than a feeler gauge. So again, gap your coils at around 10/1000 of an inch. And again, on this Honda engine here, you would disconnect the wire from the primary tab right here and check for spark once you have removed that. So it's very simple, guys. Just remember that when you have the wire off, basically the coil here is working on its own. There's no outside interference causing issues. So to give you an example, let's say the mice had gotten in this engine over the winter and the wires were frayed and the wire was actually touching on the engine here, while the wire is still plugged on the primary tab of the coil, it would be acting as a shutoff switch, because this wire goes to the switch, and when you turn the switch off, it actually grounds this tab to the engine, thus creating a no spark at your spark plug. So once you understand that concept, guys, and you're working on small engines, you can diagnose a no spark issue on an engine quite fast. And it would be the same thing on a lawn tractor with a V-twin engine, except you'd have a little bit more stuff to take off to actually get at the coils, but it's not a big deal. And the same with a lawnmower here, you'd have to take some covers off, find out where the coil is, it's right here, and find out where the wire goes to it, which is usually sometimes hidden underneath. And like I said, guys, if the coil's disconnected and you still don't have spark, 99% of the time you need to replace that coil if you've already tried to gap it. It's very rare that I end up having to replace a flywheel, although I will recommend that when you have a spark issue and you've corrected it, to go back to the flywheel and clean it off with a wire brush or a 400 to 600 emery paper, and make sure the magnets are nice and clean, because they do tend to rust, as you can see here. So before ending off the video, I will just reiterate this again, because I made a short video in the past and I realized I needed to come back and make a longer video. So just to reiterate things, if you disconnect the primary wire from the primary tab here on the coil and you still don't have spark, more than likely you need to re-gap the coil or you need to replace it. And on the other hand, if you disconnect the wire from the primary tab and all of a sudden you have spark, then you have a wiring issue on your equipment. So check the switch and check all the wires, and including this one here, where it goes in the electrical system of your engine, and just go from there. Hopefully my explanation here is clear. If you have any questions on this subject, please comment below. I'll try to answer your questions, and also the viewers are also great at answering questions that I don't always have the time to get to. So if you've learned something today in this video, please like it and share it with your friends. Also, make sure you're subscribed to my channel, guys, because I put out videos on a weekly basis. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.